Welcome everybody to That's Good Stuff, our deep dive into pop cultures. This is what happens when we all get together. Our deep dive into pop culture's newest releases, and the newest release this time is Netflix, The Fall of the House of Usher, directed by Mike Flanagan.
Not the musician.
Not the musician.
Not the musician.
And it's based on the short story by Edgar Allan Poe. It's like word for word, isn't it?
No, not at all.
Who's the musician?
Like
Usher?
Oh.
I
thought you said
Mike
Flanagan.
Talking about Mike Flanagan.
Because he's like Mike Flanagan, not the musician. I was like, who's Mike Flanagan?
Jared's like, who's the musician? What are you talking about?
no, I just like
So this is a two-part review. We watched the first 4 episodes.
Or did we?
Or did we? Or we're going to watch.
We've been dead the whole
It was
time.
really close for me.
We were going to talk about it. Yeah, spoilers for everything we talk about. This was a difficult watch, but we'll get into that. So I'm not even sure how we're going to review this because, like I said, I had trouble with this show, and we'll talk about it. But let's go through the episodes really fast. So episode 1 is called A Midnight Drury.
Why are you looking at me?
In this one, because this is your fault. No.
Wow.
Okay, so this
Thomas, you like Poe in high school. It's all your fault.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
I created the goth movement. No.
Maybe before we get into this show, let's talk about his other shows, which I know Michael's a big fan of.
I've seen all of them.
And I think you're the only one that has, though.
I haven't seen.
I started the first one with him.
True.
So go over your thoughts going into this show. Like, were you hyped for this show?
I was very hyped for this show because last year was a little bit of so in reverse order, we have last year was Midnight Club. Year before that was Midnight Mass. Before that was Haunting of Bly Manor. Then the first one was Haunting of Hill House. Hill House, easily best one, absolutely incredible. Super, super good. Keeps the tension. It's not just these like lame, like this show copies a lot of what
You like it more than Midnight Mass?
oh yeah.
Oh, I think
Midnight
you
Mass
really
is
loved
amazing,
it,
but Hill House is just like it's almost perfect. It's so close, so close. But there are a few things that I can complain about. But this one copies a lot of what Midnight Club did, which it doesn't do the horror well at all.
It's a terrible name, though.
sounds like
Midnight
a car
Club?
racing
Yeah.
game.
It does sound like.
It's not great because it's like, why do Midnight Mass and Midnight Club when they have nothing connected to each other?
Yeah.
At least unless there's somewhere like meta.
I thought you were misspeaking. I thought you were just saying.
No, it's Midnight Club.
Um,
It's still good. I really enjoyed it. Like the characters are really good. It's like basically like like a foster home almost kind of thing. They're all dying basically. And they all go basically just die together. Like,
he loves that theme
speaking
of
of
like
people that they know.
siblings that hate each other or bad
Yeah,
siblings.
basically.
Yeah.
But and so they all have the Midnight Club where they all get up and they tell scary stories, and that's that show. But it's very much like this show where it like leads up to the point of which we're gonna have a scary moment and you see it coming and everything. Whenever Haunting Hill House is just like it's so like the idea of Haunting Hill House is all this family moved in a house when they were the adults in the show were kids, and this event happens that's haunting, and it's like the future. So it skips like 20 years or something like that. So it's like how it affected them and their stress, and they have to go back and actually deal with it. It's so well done. The whole thing's kind of keeps tension going the whole time. There's so many questions. You're like, but this and this and this, and this. Where in this show, I'm like, I kind of have guesses about why everything's going on. I'm not really. The only thing I questioned, which was revealed, and I got to remember which episode.
Yeah.
We did watch 5 episodes. We watched 3 yesterday. So,
Oh my god.
yeah.
Well, he watched like all.
So, but yeah, anyway, the previous shows, yeah, Haunting of Hill House is amazing. Bly Manor middle is great. The outsides are the beginning and end are actually not that great. Midnight Mass is so good. Such a great. If you don't know like the idea of Midnight Mass, don't look anything up to it because it's super cool. Like you're like, oh, that's
But
what's
you can
going
kind
on.
of guess
You
with the
can.
name.
But it's really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what mass is?
Church.
Kind of, yes.
I don't get it.
It's Catholic mass. It's very specifically Catholic.
Yeah, but do you know what Midnight Mass is about?
I can guess.
Is it about
It's about
stuff we talk about on bonus?
Yes,
stuff a lot?
it is. But what does that have to do with Catholics? Apart from the fact that they, drink the blood of Christ.
that.
Is that
Yeah.
it? Is that it? That's the
Yeah.
only connection we're making here?
Yeah.
All right. I think that's flimsy thread there. Anyway. And then Midnight Club was just good, but not great.
All right.
Had ups and downs.
Good, not great.
Midnight Club is very much more like this, where it feels like individual episodes rather than a continuing story,
Mhm.
which I don't like.
Is Midnight Club the one with the orphanage?
Yeah, it's like it's more like it's like a foster thing for people who are dying, kids who are dying.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's
Michael
sad.
was hyped, is what we learned.
I was hyped.
Were you hyped because Bruce Green was
No,
in it?
I didn't even know he was in
What
it.
about Mark Hamill?
No, I didn't even know he was in it.
I didn't even know I was in it when I was watching.
The only one I knew. The only one I knew was the Spy Kids mom was in it.
Oh, yeah, she's.
Isn't she all?
I think she's only not in. I don't think she's in Midnight Mass. I think it's the only one she's not in. She does really good in the show. I will say that.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like
her
the best part
performance-
of
her
the
performance
show.
is great in the show.
Yeah,
We'll get into that.
we'll get into it. First episode of Midnight Jury. This felt very much like a Netflix setup episode.
Yeah, this to me was probably the least strongest of the four.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it starts off great. I liked how it started
Yeah, it
off.
has a good strong. Story.
Yeah, with them in the past. Well, it starts off in the present. He's at the church. He's seen things.
The scene we've seen 4 times now.
Yeah. And then he goes home and talks to is he the district attorney or something like
Yeah,
that?
some kind of prosecutor or something.
Yeah, so he's telling him a story and then goes back in time to his childhood with his sister, and his mom is there and she's sick, and she works for this pharmaceutical company, but they can't pay the medicine even though she works there. And there's, I guess, the boss. I guess it's a boss.
It's the boss, and supposedly I think it's like her kid's father is what they implying, because like there's a reason why he keeps her around, and why they're like, hey, there's
and
a
he
connection.
doesn't really like him.
Yeah, he
either.
doesn't like them. He doesn't acknowledge
Yeah.
them. But he can't just like say, hey, go away, because then she'll say,
Yeah, because like they go into his yard and he's like, never here.
Yeah, exactly. I caught a snooper.
So he's a big jerk, and she's sick, and they think she's dead. They bury her, but then she comes out. And
She
they're like,
busts through that like wooden
Yeah, I don't
coffin.
know.
She Vegeta's out of the ground.
Yeah.
It's like Zorro.
they're like, hey, mom, how's it going?
But
And then
less
she like,
scary.
tries to kill the son, but the sister's like, don't do that. And then she goes and attacks the boss, and it's like,
Strangles him like hardcore. Like,
so we get that. That was what like I said, the best part of the show.
Strangled him.
I was like, I can kind of get with this when I was watching it. And then we meet like the worst family ever.
Oh,
I
they
mean,
are probably the
None of
worst
them are
one.
redeemable.
someone
at all.
watched Succession and it's like, let's make a horror
That's
movie
all I
out of
keep
this.
thinking.
Yeah.
the whole time.
It's like, let's get the worst people in.
They're all bad, but I can't. I know it's off track, but I can't stand the sister in the 70s.
Really? Why?
Yeah, she is annoying.
Oh.
Very attractive.
Actually,
though.
very attractive. But I like her like she's kind of crazy. Like I thought
She's too smart for everybody.
in the 4th episode,
yes.
did they reveal the informant?
No.
Or was that the
No.
5th one? Okay,
That's
so I gotta hold that back.
The bug. Or
She's too smart for everyone, but I don't mind it when she's like an old lady.
Mhm.
But in the 70s, it's like, oh my,
Stands with the fist.
Wait, I thought that's a sister, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. His sister. The
Yeah.
twin. Oh, okay. Twin
Bruce,
sister.
yeah,
Yeah. She's okay at the start, but as it goes on,
yeah.
she gets kind
Also, did the wig get worse as the episodes go? Because she's supposed to be blonde, and like in the 70s, you can clearly tell that's her hair. But in like present day, I'm just like,
Oh, in the present
I
day?
can tell it's just a really bad haircut.
Yeah, I'm
It's
just like-
super fake.
is it supposed to be fake? Because that's not her hair. Like that's
Maybe-
clearly not her hair. Maybe something
I
happens.
was
I
saying
don't
maybe
know.
she's dying. She's
Yeah,
wearing a wig,
that's
but
what
we
I
don't
was
know that
thinking.
yet.
Sorry
But-
to take us off topic, but yeah,
No,
that
that's
family's
okay.
terrible.
Jared
Yeah,
didn't
it's
like the
terrible.
sister.
It was just, every time she came on, I was like,
Weirdly enough, I like the oldest sibling the most.
dude, why is he older than the dad, though?
That's true.
That's the guy from.
That's Bruce Greenwood, though. He'd like, I think he's been the same age for like
So
ever.
yeah, Bruce Greenwood, the second best Batman voice that we've had.
And
Interesting.
a very good Captain Pike.
I like him.
And then we also have Mark Hamill, who's from Star Wars. And
Indeed.
like you said, you
And
didn't.
the Joker.
When I first saw him, I was like, "Is that Mark Hamill?"
Like the first 2 times I saw him, I thought he was just some old guy, and then I was like, wait,
That's Mark.
He's
Hamill.
the voice,
yeah.
though.
Yeah, he does a different voice for sure.
I think Mark Hamill's one of my favorite parts of the show.
Oh yeah, I'm intrigued by him. I wanna see
Yeah,
where
I
his story
do.
goes.
It's kind of an easy joke, but I like the joke when he's like, "You can't enhance. That's not.
Oh,
a joke.
yeah.
You can zoom in."
That was goofy.
He's like,
but
well,
we
you
were
could if
laughing
you could
pretty hard.
enhance. He's like, well, I'm sorry.
It's fun hearing Mark Hamill say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's episode 1. It's pretty much, like I said, a setup episode. I didn't really
Yeah.
care for it. It's just like, this is Netflix.
This is
Episode 2 is The Mask of the Red Death. Is
Wow.
that your favorite?
It's probably my
It's
favorite.
a good
episode.
ending.
good ending, but it's also just like this felt so much like the bad Succession-y kind of stuff.
Yeah.
where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna do all the things you think rich people do. We're gonna
Yeah.
show-
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get it. Dude, give me a story now. I don't want to watch these people do their dumb stuff the whole time.
Yeah. So this one is basically I guess he's the youngest son.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like watching Nip Tuck again. If you guys ever watched that, it's like Jesus.
So he's the youngest son. He wants to start a nightclub
watching
because.
It was on at. It was spicy as a child.
We know why you were watching it.
Youngest son wants to start a nightclub, so finds this creepy factory and thinks it's a great idea, so he wants some drugs.
Also, what a stupid who he thinks is smart. Like, oh, I'll just plug it into the tanks up top. Like,
Oh, yeah.
no.
It's like, what do you think's in that? If it wasn't what it ended up being,
Well, even
it's
in
still
the
gonna be awful.
in the boardroom meeting where he like learns where there is one, he's like, "Oh, this is a abandoned chemical factory." I'm just like, I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, you knew. As
It's
soon
like-
as they were talking about the sprinklers.
even in the best scenario, it did work. You're still getting like gross swamp water
Yeah.
coming. You're not gonna want to
Smells
be
like
banging
sewage,
after that.
yeah.
It's gonna be like, you smell like wet dog. I gotta go.
And also, like the director, like, stop focusing on the sprinklers. Like,
yeah, it was like
Overhead
change
shot.
focus.
Well, no, I love the overhead shots of like the pipes and stuff that were directly focusing on the sprinklers, where you can see the crowd.
So
It
just
was
been the
like-
Jaws theme. Dun, dun,
Yeah, I know.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I think the show thinks people are dumb or something because
Yeah.
it's like trying to spell stuff out for people. One thing I don't like is the name dropping. I mean, I get it. They're rich and they're supposed to drop names, but they're like they say, like they mentioned Narcos.
Yeah.
Narcos is a Netflix show. You shouldn't be referencing Netflix shows in your Netflix show.
Have you seen our other works?
I know it's like a commercial. They reference Chat GPT.
no.
They have this long thing about the Wizard of Id. It's like he calls it a
yeah.
comic book. It's not a comic book. It's
strip.
a comic strip. But yeah, so we get the
And then he's like, I'm a Calvin and Hobbes guy myself.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
and then we get the first.
I was
death.
like, Thomas.
How dare you?
We get the
Is
first.
it wrong?
Moving on.
We get the first horror death, which, like we said, was the sprinklers have acid or something in
Human
it.
soup at the end.
Yeah, it makes everyone all bloody.
That'd be like the worst way to go out, though. Like really. Like
It wouldn't be pleasant, that's for sure.
A lot of them are still alive when they're like
Well, that's
going
the-
through it.
that's the thing is that the acid probably wouldn't kill you. It would be the what you would be inhaling, because when something dissolves, it has to turn into something. So it turns into gas, and that's what you're inhaling is human
Bunch of
remains.
stinky farts.
Yeah.
Death by farts.
So
Also, you're on drugs, so you wouldn't be like aware of it at first. You'd be like, oh, my skin's melting.
Oh, this is new. Episode 3, Murder in the Rue Morgue.
Mm.
This one has to do about monkeys, so it was Jared's
More
favorite.
proof that chimps are like, you don't. Chimps are awful.
So this is the one with the sister. She runs like the PR part of the firm, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
The spin factory.
She has 2 sex slaves.
Yeah, their
Very
assistants
weird.
in their job description, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, what is the point of this story?
Not just that,
Plot point.
but why do they both dress alike? The man was
probably
wearing
part of her-
wearing a skirt.
Maybe they're fake.
It's part of her fetish.
Part of her fetish.
Lemons? I have lemons because they talk about making lemonade.
I was gonna bring that up. It's like,
I have a tangent after you get done.
okay. It was like they kind of go over this with the daughter, like how she's like turning the the party, the orgy into like a like sympathy, and then he like goes over it again with the lemonade, like how he like taught his kids to like turn lemons into like this whole like, oh, you buy the lemons, you corner the markets. Like, dude, we just kind of had that with. It's it thinks people are stupid with this show. It's like, oh my god, we already went over this.
It's ridiculous. And that's like the beginning of the point. Like the rest of the episode, the next episode, it's like each person has to have their own self-indulgent monologue.
Yeah.
It gets crazy. I was like, I am so tired of hearing you people like give metaphors and give this huge talk about things of, oh, I'm one-upping you now. Did you notice with the camera change? I'm like it happens probably 15 times.
It's
in the next
like
two
that.
episodes.
It's like you get it with the kids, and then Bruce Greenwood goes over it again. You're like, oh my god,
It's
shut
like-
up.
And then with the sister in the past, or the boss and her are having their whole like power play, and I'm like, dude, it's like so much of these dramatic monologues of just ridiculousness. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's very theatrical, but way too much. Like I like those, but like save them, make them worth it. Not every character gets one.
Doesn't get more of the Spy Kids mom. What's her name? Carla something.
Yeah,
No,
I always forget
Gina
the name.
Carano?
Yeah.
No, not Gina Carano.
Carino's.
That's a different actress.
Is it?
Yeah. She's like Carla. What is it?
I remember them. I remember as
all I know is Spy Kids mom.
very sexy Spy Kids mom.
Yeah.
That's all that everyone remembers. Of
Yeah,
a
it's
certain
like 5
age.
minutes.
20?
25.
I can't, Carla Gugino?
I was half right.
The Genos.
Anyway, she's in the third and fourth, or I guess from the ending of the second one to the fourth, she gets more involved into it.
True.
And in this third one, she gets into the fetish of the other sister who likes to
Watch.
her.
I don't even know what.
And just like conversations, not even like.
Yeah.
This is where it's like you already have like it's like pick one. You have this woman who likes to cuck and watch her hubby do this. You have the other sister who has the two banger people. You have the guy that has the orgy. Like pick one. Have one person be the sex addict.
Yeah.
Then give someone else something else.
And then
Let him try some other
Then
addiction.
you have the other game guy.
Like at least Raul Coley is like just a drug addict. Like that's cool. I mean, he has a chick blowing him at one point, but he's not like overly.
And he's also in
obsessed
a
with it.
relationship with a man.
He's not going crazy
Yeah.
about it. He
Also,
doesn't
like
have
the
sex slaves.
entirety of like the siblings are bisexual.
Yeah.
They're all everywhere. I mean, when you're rich, you're bored, right?
I guess. I'm not rich.
Yeah.
And none of them look
Maybe
alike.
one day we can be bisexual, Thomas. Together, you and I.
Okay. But she shows up there, but she also kind of shows up at the lab at the exact same time. So there's kind of like supernatural
The
Yeah.
stuff
eldest is
going on.
pretty vanilla.
Huh?
The eldest
That we
dude.
know of.
Yeah.
The eldest dude?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ponytail man?
Yeah.
I like how they call him boring. I'm just like, he's just normal.
Yeah.
Trying to be with his family. He has a
The
daughter.
weirdest thing is that he doesn't like elevators.
His daughter's kind of annoying because she's a know-it-all. And
She's
like-
nosy.
She's like, oh, you're doing it wrong, dude.
At least he's not
also
like-
she's like at that age, you would be distrusting of all those people.
Yeah.
Like you see what's going on at that age. She's
Yeah.
she's like real just either playing dumb or dumb.
At least he's not stereotyped dad with his daughter, where he's just has no time for her.
Yeah.
He's like kind of okay with his daughter.
Yeah.
Tries to be involved.
Yeah.
So far, he's normal, but I'm sure we'll learn something.
Mm.
He's the worst of them all.
Yeah.
There's only two or
Reminds me of Snyder from Three
three
Ninjas.
left, I guess.
So
A ponytail.
Yeah.
she shows up as a security guard and kind of torments that daughter with the silver hair. And
Also, I would never believe her as a security guard. She's way too attractive.
No one did.
Even her.
Even
You're the other
Mark,
one.
even Mark Hamill was like, we don't have females.
Well,
And then she like does this weird jump onto the table. And
I thought she floated, but then everyone else was like, no, she jumped. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, she's supposed to be
She's supposed to be a chimp.
chimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she turns into a monkey and smiles at the camera.
Well, it was always the monkey. She's just like
Oh,
That's true.
she's
never not the
hallucinating.
monkey.
She was never not the fun.
Something weird's going on.
So
so
now
was
we-
the monkey behind.
We
the
get
security
another
guard.
death because the monkey eats the lady or scratches her up. And then we get to episode 4, which is called The Black Cat.
This one
Yep.
was fun
Yeah, this is probably the funny.
because like he's like the best child, like the
Yeah.
sibling. Like he's the most like you can watch him.
Yeah.
This was the funniest one, I would say. So
Yeah.
it's like the most entertaining one.
This is one part where we're like, oh!
So they get into this thing about farts. This show has a thing about farts because they mention them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of digestive.
Yeah, and he's like, "You wish you could fart and be something or something." Like, I don't remember what he's. But they mention farts like twice in this show already. So basically, there's a cat. He gets this cat from the
Adoption.
Yeah.
Like the
what do you call those places?
Pound.
Shelter. He gets a cat because he's got to replace it for his boyfriend. I think.
We think.
Yeah.
We don't know.
yeah, it's his boyfriend.
So
Because later on, he's like, oh, he just ruined it for himself because he was like, stop,
But he's
hold
like-
off on the drugs.
it's like a secret boyfriend because they didn't want to tell the family or something like
I don't
that.
remember what happened to the cat in the beginning. How the cat died?
He stabbed it.
Yeah, because remember he like blacked out while they were doing drugs, and then he
Oh, he woke up and it's all like choppy.
Yeah.
So I don't think he did it.
Someone did it.
Someone did it.
I think it was the woman, the supernatural woman.
No. Maybe.
I think it was him.
Alex was also saying, like, at the end of the episode, that the cat that jumped on his body and climbed around looked like the original one.
Also
Yeah.
CGI.
Why?
Can't get a cat.
And so he was like, did he even kill the cat at all? I was like, I don't know.
I've checked out at this point.
Yeah.
Well, he, I think he killed the cat, but the
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So he kills a cat. Someone killed the cat, so he's got to replace the cat. And that one looks like it at the pound. And what's her
Also-
name's working there.
Creepy vibes on that one. I didn't like the collar. No.
Yes, it-
Oh, her there?
She was wearing a collar.
Oh.
Oh.
yeah, with like a bell.
All the
Yeah.
bell. I'm just like, no.
that's all right. We've learned everyone has their thing.
I don't mind chokers.
Yeah.
He's like, I
Maybe
want
the bell's
that.
a bit much,
I want
though.
that.
I
one.
didn't know it was a bell. I thought it was like a hook, like a
There's a hook.
A name
like,
tag.
yeah. No, I thought it was just like a ring.
Please call.
If lost.
I thought it's where you put the leash, okay?
Please call an old priest a young priest.
I didn't think it was a collar or a tag.
If found, just find God.
Get a life.
He takes the cat home. The cat's terrible. It scratches him.
That's
Like,
awful.
hides in the walls.
Just a cat.
Presents under the pillow.
Yeah, leaving them dead stuff. He
All
called.
cats do that. They're gifts. They're telling you you don't know how to hunt.
We know this.
So
She
it's-
explains this.
Stink, feed yourself.
He calls the pound back, and she's there. And she's kind of like doing creepy things.
I did like when when he showed her all the things that the cat
in
killed.
the tub.
He's like, is this normal? It's like, well, it's kind of weird that she put them in the tub. He's like, I did that.
One was on the fridge.
So she like turns into a cat or something, or she's missing an eye because
That's the part where I kind of went like, oh. So like the cat jumps out at the guy and it just scratches the crap out of him, and he like grabs the cat's head and like pokes the eye out of the cat, and we see it. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, it's like a Three Stooges there. Where you're like, I was
wasn't
watching
bad.
this
It
with
was like he like raked his neck.
yeah, and she see images, or we see an image of her with her eye hanging out, so we know something weird's going on. And then he gets Thor's hammer, and I was cracking up at that part because he's like tearing down the house with the hammer.
Hemsworth can give me another hammer.
I was watching this
Another
with
Netflix
Luna, and I
show.
was like, "You need to leave the room.
yeah.
You can't watch this young lady."
Give her ideas.
Yeah,
Um,
we've had fights like that.
Oh my god.
the boyfriend comes in and is like, "What are you doing?" And he sees the kid on the rail, and he runs at it and falls off. And he's dead.
He's dead.
And then a CG cat walks on him. So there's also this side part because they always go back to him, the main guy, the matriarch or the
Roderick.
yeah, him talking to the DA. And there's this weird part where he sees something, so he like freaks out. He's like, ah! But then the other guy freaks out. He's like, don't yell at me. He's like, okay.
Well, if you saw a guy freaking out in front of you, you'd be like, You're not gonna be like, "Oh,
Don't you ever Yell at me.
It was so
I like that
weird.
he's like, I will knock you out. No hesitation. No, you're.
I did like it was a very strange. It was like,
You wear a
what
bow
is that,
tie,
the
sir.
reaction you made to that.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Like he'd already done some weird things before. Be like, "You're okay, buddy. Let me have
Yeah.
that drink. Stop. Whatever the heck's in that."
so he hates to be yelled at, I guess. That's
Yeah,
what we
don't
learned.
yell at the man.
Okay, so that was kind of recap of the 4 episodes. So far, if you could kind of erase 5 from your memory right now. But for 4 episodes, what do you guys think of the show real fast?
Want me to go?
Yeah. you
Knock
go.
stuff out.
I'm
Go
probably
ahead.
gonna have like the only positive
Okay.
outlook on this. Yeah, I really like this one. I have some notes.
Well, while you do your notes real fast, because I said I have very little to say because I really don't have an opinion of this show.
Not yet.
Like, I was excited for it, yes. It didn't meet my expectations, no. I don't dislike it, but like nothing. Like we watched the first day, we watched 2 episodes last Sunday. Then yesterday we watched 3 episodes. Not once during the week did I think about the show. Like not once was like, I can't wait. I want to know what happens next. I'm like, because I feel like I can kind of put ideas like in my head. Like they made a deal with the lady on midnight. She's come back to collect the price that they have to pay for making them successful. That's kind of what my head's like. That's what the show's gonna be. Could be completely wrong. I have no idea. But and I'm like, I just don't see anything going any other way. And I'm just kind of like, there's no hook. There's no hook except for the curiosity of like, what actually is she like? I like the. Did they talk about the possibility of how she's there and looks the same in these? Okay,
No,
never
they just got to
Okay.
that
Never
where they're like, oh, she looks familiar.
mind. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. So
I think she might be the house.
I'm just like,
I think
I
she's
don't know.
death, isn't she?
there's been a lot of theories. She's the Raven from the Raven.
Yeah.
Um,
So this story is nothing really like the House of Usher's
No.
short story,
No.
like whatsoever. It does have some character names and like
a lot of Poe stuff in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a huge amount of Poe stuff. Like the first or the second episode is based on the Mask of Red Death, which is like one of my favorite Poe stories ever. Even the sibling is in Prospero, and Prince Prospero is in Mask of Red Death. He's the main antagonist, and they all die. Spoilers for a story that was written 170 years ago. They all die at the end of the Mask of Red Death because the plague infects the party, and that's how they all die. Is from, I think it's anthrax is what it turned out to be. And so this was like an updated version of not anthrax, but everybody dies while fluids are dripping out of their body. There's also like Lenore is the name of the grandchild, which is from the Raven. That's what the poem's about, is, Lenore. But the second episode I think was my favorite just because I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. I was like, well, maybe it's like chemicals, maybe I don't know. But even like the whole him inviting the first sibling's wife to the party, I didn't really understand what was going on. And then she survives, which I didn't expect that. Now she's like now she's a mummy.
We have to touch on that really fast of how the little daughter is so happy about her mother blinking.
That's true.
Have you seen this?
Actually, I hadn't seen
I don't
anybody
remember.
blinking.
Okay, that must be episode 5.
Not blinking, but just the fact that nobody is acknowledging that she's like alive.
Okay. So that must be episode 5. You guys will see it. It's no spoiler or anything. Like the daughter just visits her,
Mhm.
and she's just way too happy. Like you see your mom like that. You set her daughter just like, "Hi, mommy." I'm like, this kid's crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
also how they kind of like don't really acknowledge that she was at Prospero's orgy.
They like
Well,
vaguely
Well,
hint at it.
they know
He's
it.
trying
They're
to
trying to
figure
cover
it
it up.
out.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like inside the family, nobody's like really talking about it.
But you can kind of put two together, right? 'Cause
I mean, they
were
know,
all-
but
Yeah.
they're just
They
like
just don't know
trying
why.
to.
I don't
Yeah.
know why, yeah.
But when-
So
okay, I guess.
I don't know. Like they're making a lot of about that burner phone, and I thought it was just for the party or whatever.
Yeah,
the
just to
invite.
get in.
So I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
what's going on with that. I'm kind of interested. I do like the third episode. It's weird. I'm like, okay, so in this amalgamation of Poe stories, basically each episode is the death of one of the siblings and like kids,
Mhm.
and I kind of like am anxious about like, all right, how's this one gonna die? Because we do see inside of the house of Usher, he sees the corpses of his dead kids, because
Yeah.
even the DA is like, well, where is she at? He's like, she's right behind you, and you don't see it. You just see Bruce Greenwood's reaction to whatever's behind him. He's like, I'm not going to turn around. I'm like, no, don't turn around. I don't know. This is my first ever venture into, what's the guy's name?
Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, the musician apparently. This is my first ever series from him, and I'm kind of enjoying it. It's kind of campy and like, I think you use this word too much, but cheesy. But it is cheesy. But if you read any gothic horror like fiction at all, it's kind of campy and cheesy. And Poe pretty much invented campy and cheesy. And there is a twin symbolism inside of the House of Usher. Like in the short story and in this, everything's kind of mirroring each other. Like things are happening. Like someone does something and then there's consequences for that action. So it's kind of a parallel to that. So I don't know. I'm excited about the next few episodes just because I think they're fun. I don't think they're great. Like I wouldn't say like your admiration for, is it Haunting of Hill House?
Mm-hmm. The first one.
Yeah, I don't have any of that for this. But I'm enjoying it because it's just fun to see where this goes. And like as like a Poe nerd, it's fun to see the little bit of tidbits around. Like in the background, there's like I think someone like noted like the poem of the Raven is actually right there. Maybe she is the Raven. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I'm actually pretty excited about it. So
What you should do if you like it after it, you should watch them in reverse order. So you end with Hill House.
and
It's the
Hill
best
House. That's not a bad idea. Of course, I'm also watching this on my iPad because unfortunately Netflix locks out everything, and the only way I'm able to access it is through my mobile devices. Luckily, my iPad is rather large, but it's still kind of a chore when I'm just like sitting there like,
Yeah. Well, they want you to subscribe so you can watch Narcos. So.
It'll watch Pedro Pascal's #1 show. Not Last of Us, Narcos.
Jared, your thoughts?
Whoa.
Just kind of disappointed, I guess.
I think
It's-
I think part of why I'm enjoying it, I had no expectations going in.
Yeah.
So like the high hopes that he had, I didn't have any of that. I'm just like, oh, we'll watch it.
Yeah. I don't know. Not much horror to it, even though I always look forward to his stuff because he's like the big horror show guy now, and like every season you wait for his show.
Nick Flanagan.
Have you
Yeah.
only seen Midnight Mass?
No, I've only seen that beginning of
Oh, you didn't
Haunting
watch
of
Midnight
Hill.
Mass?
and no.
Oh, I thought you did.
I don't know. It's not very horrifying. The over the top like evil people is just like way too much. It's like Michael said, it's just like the stereotype, like, oh, they're rich and powerful, so they're doing drugs and they're having sex, and they're just like, okay, it's like I get it, but like
Very extreme.
yeah. There's some fun stuff in it. Like I'm not taking it super seriously. There's some fun stuff, like Thomas was saying. They killed one of the only good characters is that brother that made the games.
Oh.
There's not really good characters left after him.
So
I am interested in like every time that you cut back to Bruce Greenwood now, there's noises from the basement of the sister. I want to see what that's about. That's the only intriguing part to me. If this was just honestly, if it was just him and talking to that dude,
that would be way scarier. Honestly.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool show. The stuff with the siblings, I don't need. When they flash back to the 70s is okay. I like his interactions with the boss.
Yeah.
Does the boss just sound like Bruce Greenwood?
Sounds like somebody. I don't know about Bruce Greenwood, but he sounds like somebody.
Like he sounds like super familiar.
Yeah.
I'm like, you aren't that person, but you sound like
He
somebody.
does a good job though. For sure.
That's interesting.
I'm excited for the next episode because it's called The Telltale Heart, and that's
nice.
that's my favorite post. That's probably my favorite short story of all time.
It's probably one of my more favorite like individual episodes in the series of what they're doing.
Okay, the thing is, I kind of see where they're going because they kind of set it up, but I'm really excited what they're going to do with it. Like I said, Telltale Heart is, in my opinion, like the best short story ever, especially like kind of creepy horriness. Hoary, yes.
Horiness.
I love that short story, so I'm really excited about this next one, but I don't want to be too disappointed.
Yeah, I think the episode's gone a little too long.
It's
Always in the beginning, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting back into it, and then like midway through, I'm like, Jesus, wow. But yeah, not too much of an opinion quite yet. I want to see what happens to that basement, see what's going on in there, see if it picks up from here on. So you just watched episode 5? You haven't been past that?
Yeah, as far as
so hopefully 5 on really picks up.
I did enjoy 5 for sure. It was good.
We don't have much siblings left. Good ones.
Flies.
Well, we got the cuck lady,
the
oldest,
the black lady, and then the ponytail man.
Yeah. Oh, really? Just 3?
Funny enough, the only thing that's from the House of Usher like book is pretty much where Bruce is talking in the house. That's pretty much the only thing that's actually from the short story.
But yeah, interested to see to finish this. So.
Yep. So for me, I'm probably the most negative. I did not want to continue after the first episode.
We just assumed that automatically.
Like I said, it just seems like a poor man's version of Succession with horror thrown into it.
To me, it's like a fancy American Horror Story, like a little classier than that. I can see that.
Like there's a part where the DA says, like, why are you telling me this? And I just felt like, yes, why are you telling us this? I don't get the point of this at all.
The bow tie man speaks the truth.
Yeah, like I said, that first part was great. I love that when they were flashed back to the mom and stuff. That was great. Like you said, some of the stuff in the house is cool. Like you see people like walking behind them and stuff like that.
That's like pretty cool. Slightly out of focus too. And I hear that's a lot of what Haunting of Hill House is that people are saying like, oh, you need to count the ghosts or whatever.
Yeah, and I've heard the hype. Like people I listen to really like Midnight Mass. This is like
Midnight
really
Mass
great.
and Haunting of Hill House are for sure like the ones to watch if you didn't watch any.
So I was kind of excited to see like what this is all about. But so far, it's just like the episodes are really boring, and then someone dies.
Yeah. And then someone dies.
Like you said, none of the people are likable, and I guess that works in a horror cliche that you have these terrible people that you want to see killed. But it's not very fun in this one. The only thing, like I said, was interesting is the Spy Kids mom. Her character is kind of cool. She got kind of like this animal rights message going on. Like she doesn't like the testing of the monkeys. She doesn't like how the cats are like in the cages and stuff like that. So I'm picking up on some kind of animal vibe from her.
So if those cats are anything like that cat,
I know
they need to die.
They need to be in there. And that's kind of the only thing I want to see is like the Raven part. My favorite Poe story is the one where where it's like that party and he breaks up the guy in the wall.
Crap.
I just forget the name.
Something about a wine, and I forgot. It's like, oh, this is the greatest wine I've ever tasted.
Yeah, the cask of the wine, whatever. So that's my favorite one. But the Raven too, you gotta love the Raven. Even the House of Usher, I like that short story.
Really?
Yeah, I like how it ends with like the house eating them up and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just not for me. Maybe I'll try Midnight Mass or something soon and have a better taste of what this guy's capable of.
Horror wise is Haunting of Hill House. That's the only one I was like legitimately tense with goosebumps the whole time. And it's like you talking about how this is just basically you're bored then someone dies. Like that's so much like that was the problem I had with Midnight Club. The one before this one is like each episode is them telling their little scary stories of the midnight thing. That's what this is. It's like you get it. This is just a formula they're repeating over and over again. So
is it just a bunch of orphans telling scary stories to each other?
And there's an overarching story, but that's the idea. Is like each individual episode is the story that one's telling.
What's that Nickelodeon show where
Are you afraid of the dark?
Yeah, it's like the meeting of the Midnight Society. Yeah.
But Haunting of Hill House is the absolute polar opposite of that. Like it's like I said, I'm not interested in the next episode. Like Haunting of Hill House, I'm like, God, I gotta watch the next one. Dang it. Or even Midnight Mass. Midnight Mass is kind of tense for 3 episodes, and the rest is just interesting. It's like, oh, this is such a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, next episode, I watched Midnight Mass in one sitting. Like all the 8 episodes, whatever the heck they are. But this one, I'm like,
I think this one's trying to be funny. It's just not really funny to me.
I'm not sure what it's going for, honestly.
Bruce's like weird Irish wife creeps me out a lot. The
the
really young one.
Oh yeah, she is creepy.
Yeah. When the granddaughter's like, "Grandma," she's like, "No, don't ever say that."
Yeah,
That's such a weird character that they don't really need.
Well, there's like she hasn't done anything for 4 episodes, so I'm like, okay. You're just like, oh,
maybe they'll bring her out for the last.
Grandpa's kind of pervy.
Yep. Yeah, so that's all I got to say. I mean,
so
4 was a little better, so hopefully 5, 6, 7.
What is y'all's favorite Poe story or anything by Poe?
Never read anything by Edgar Allan Poe before.
It's sad.
Telltale Heart. Telltale Heart.
That one's pretty good too.
It's here under the floorboards.
Did you talk about this show?
Just like vaguely that I don't really have an opinion on.
Yeah.
Because like everything's like well done, the acting's good and everything, but it's just like I have no interest in it.
I recommend for a first-time Poe person the animation of A Telltale Heart narrated by James Mason. It's one of the best like short animated films ever. Fair enough.
I think you just need characters you can like. Most of the
I like Roderick. Like I like.
He's all right.
He's kind of
just
cool. He's also just Bruce Greenwood, who's just
But I don't really care
Kinda
for
cool.
his interaction with the DA that much.
You don't?
No, it's just like you said.
It
Why?
hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah, it's like why are we watching this?
I did. I did kind of crack up a little bit. It's like, well, I guess we should start at the beginning. And all I could think about was the other guys. It's like, well, we should start at the end, and then go back to the beginning, and then intermittently go in between.
My thing with Mike Flanagan a lot, or whatever, I don't know if it's him, but the writing of his shows, the dialogue, is a little iffy.
It's very, very dramatic.
Yeah. And this one, it's just like to 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I do like that we don't have a reliable narrator for any of these stories, because that's very much Poe. And so, like, even with Roderick, like, telling everything, you're just like, are you just crazy?
Yeah, and then he's kind of like on drugs.
Yeah.
Why is he seized?
Because, like, the whole thing about, I hope it's not, oh, it was drugs all along. Because I will be so mad about, I hate that crap.
Yeah.
I really do. It's like,
It's that vascular dementia thing he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's like what he's claiming.
Oh.
He's hallucinating, but everyone else is as well.
The 70 things, like Jared said, I do like the boss and his interaction and stuff, but the sister does get a little annoying where she's like telling him to be a man and stuff like that.
Every speech where she's like, you just gotta take life by the balls.
Yeah.
You, like, eat a lot of poop.
Yeah.
And it's not poop, is what she says.
Because at first, like when they went to that thing at midnight where they went to the bar, I thought that was kind of cool. I guess he has a thing for midnights because there's a lot of midnight stuff.
He only works at midnight.
Once upon a midnight dreary.
Right. And they say a lot of the
Pondered, weak and
poems.
weary.
They recite the poems during the show and stuff like that. So, yeah. Hopefully it gets better for me. I think you guys are interested. So we will be back with part 2 of our review next week. With episodes 5, 6, 7, 8. Until then,
Happy Halloween!
Yep, like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff, and we'll see you next time. Bye.